you'll see Shaheen is up a game against Kevin Greeson, his opposite aggro deck. 7-2, 7-1 are the respective records here for the two players. And it looks like Greeson is coming into the red zone with a creature and just passing the turn back. So over to Soorani, we're going to go.
Yeah, and nothing of a fast start, it looks like, from Greeson. A Den Protector that was not morphed is his only creature on the board. That is going to make things difficult. What Shaheen generally does, if you haven't watched a lot of his decks plays, he will kill early creatures. He's a big fan of just 3-mana counter spells, but then he will eventually sit behind or build up a wall of planeswalkers.
There's a Silk Wrap. Greeson going to sacrifice a Windswept Teeth here. We'll see what land he wants to dig out. He'll go with a basic forest. The one thing that Kevin is missing at this point, you can see his lands, a forest, a plains, and a Canopy Vista. No black mana just yet. I'll take a draw step here. Picked up another plains. But there's a Sunken Hollow, so black mana no longer a problem. And now Gideon has shown up. There's a Night Ally. And now just going to pass the turn back over to Soorani. We'll see if Shaheen can find an answer right away.
Yeah, got it under this copy of Scatter to the Winds that Shaheen just drew. But one thing, said Shaheen, great at board control, does have a kill spell at the ready.
And that's a card there in Ruinous Path that's not particularly popular in the format, but it is a clean answer to Gideon.
Yeah, I mean, it's popular for players like Shaheen Soorani.
Yeah, this is definitely true. A Smoldering Marsh. And now there's a Morph. Here's an attack with the Night Ally. Soorani going to fall down to 16. He'll draw a card, picked up a copy of Utter End.
So Greeson with the Morph has the ability to start looping Den Protectors. Certainly can be powerful here. I suppose the first Den Protector is under a Silk Wrap, so can't necessarily loop them just yet, but...
There's a Prairie Stream. Gonna un-Megamorph the Den Protector. It'll get a +1/+1 counter. Gideon's gonna come on back. So now we're gonna head back Kevin's way. We'll get to draw a card as well here.
Though a slow start from Kevin, this is the kind of start that could overpower Esper.
An attack for 5 is not a bad place to be. Soorani's going to fall down to 11. Shambling Vent the land. I'm just going to pass the turn back. Utter End going to take care of the Den Protector here from Shaheen. And now Ultimate Price to draw. In Island and a passing of the turn. In the old standard format, that would be the time to play Elspeth.
Well, interesting, let's look at what just happened there. Kevin, in an effort to play around counterspells, actually, he had a Gideon in hand and spent all his mana on nothing that turn. The upside is that Kevin got Shaheen to use Utter End on Den Protector. That's not really the best use of an Utter End, because Shaheen needed to cast something. I mean, I think ideally Shaheen would have used Scatter to the Winds on Gideon.
See what Kevin wants to do now.
Looks like Heir of the Wilds is the play. Shaheen doesn't have enough mana to cast Scatter to the Winds and Awaken.
So just Shambling Vent going to come in.
Well, it's really interesting. Shaheen has his own Shambling Vent. So he could just block.
Yeah, I think that's what he might do. You see him rearranging his mana a little bit here.
Yeah, this is a strange attack from Kevin, because if Shaheen blocks with his own Shambling Vent, what would happen is each player would gain 2 life. I'm just not sure that Kevin wants that trade to happen.
There's a Murderous Cut from Shaheen. He'll delve away a card.
So it's not going to happen because Shaheen had a better play. But still going back to that, even if Shaheen doesn't have Murderous Cut, I believe he just blocks the Shambling Vents and says, okay, 2 life for everyone. This is great.
Sunken Hollow is the land past the turn back. This is pretty classic Shaheen magic, honestly. Kill all your stuff, try to take over the Planeswalker. Just hasn't found the Planeswalker yet. Night Ally might be ready to come into the red zone. There is a Land on War Waste.
No Manlands remaining for Kevin.
There's Gideon.
Shaheen has been waiting for this card, you can tell.
Scatter the Winds with Awaken. Gonna Awaken the Sunken Hollow. And now here's an attack for 2.
Yeah, so Shaheen, the 3/3 was not untapped, still only has 1 basic in play, so his battle ends still entering the battlefield tapped.
There's an attack for 3. Greeson gonna fall down to 14. Back over to Kevin. We'll go. Shaheen with another Scatter the Winds in hand.
Yeah, I believe it's Utter End Scatter to the Winds again.
I guess he doesn't need a Planeswalker every time.
I mean, this is very Shaheen. 3 copies of Utter End in the main deck. That's a huge number for that card.
It's a good card, but you got to pay a lot to be able to cast it. We'll see what comes next here for Kevin. He's going to start by just attacking for 2. It looks like Shaheen is more than happy to fire up the old shambling vent here.
Yeah, there's some risk. He's putting himself at risk to Abzan Charm by activating here, but he does have double blue up, so he could counter.
And he's going to with Scatter the Winds.
May get really rewarded. Wow, and what a coup on Shaheen's side that just gets the knight for free thanks to the counter spell.
Gonna get some life there too. Now Soorani's gonna draw as he's at 11. Gonna fire up Shambling, then come across here for 5. Greeson's gonna fall down to 9. Shaheen's gonna go up to 13. The follow-up is a Jace, and he'll pass the turn back using all of his mana that turn.
Yeah, and Shaheen's making the most out of each of his cards here. I think because of great sequencing, he's been getting a little more value than he should be off these kill spells.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I like about Shaheen's deck. When you have such a diversity of kill spells and a lot of instant speed things, you make life very difficult for your opponents to actually correctly play around all the spells you have. So when you get in a situation, like we just saw that last turn, Kevin, you know, there are situations where Kevin will accidentally give Shaheen an extra card. And that's what Shaheen gets for playing offbeat decks and for playing decks with lots of diversity of instants.
Jace is going to flip. It's up to 5 now, of course, because it has transformed. Going to attack there with the Shambling Vent, and for 3.
Yeah, and
there's another Jace.
All right, so a pair of Jaces. Hasn't even used the one here. He just puts it to 6 with no target.
Yeah. Shaheen is so far ahead in this game. And again, if this is how he could dial it up, he would every single time. Kill a bunch of your stuff, find a way to win eventually.
I mean, look at the win cons here for Shaheen. He's winning with a Shambling Vent and a 3/3 on a land. Yes, he has some Jaces in play, but he hasn't even used them to do anything. He's winning with a very minimal amount of resources right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen him kind of flex his muscles with his Planeswalkers as he typically does.
Yeah.
Jace has now finally shown up, but beyond that, it hasn't been anything too crazy here for Soorani.
It's a Manland and a kill spell that he's winning the game with. So literally has not spent a card on it.
Here comes Shambling Vent.
Yeah, the attack there is okay. It gains him 2 life, but at the same time, Shaheen will likely just gain that 2 back.
And if Fenta shows up, Shaheen's going to very quickly sacrifice a Flooded Strand.
And well, we do see Ruinous Path in the graveyard, so Shaheen at the ready with the kill spell for Anafenza.
That Sunken Hollow search up, I think, is going to enter the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, it should. We mentioned that earlier, how despite all the lands in play, he actually doesn't have 2 battle lands. And having it enter the battlefield tapped, you see a chuckle on Shaheen's side. It's really going to hamper his plans. I think what he wanted to do there was give flashback to Ruinous Path the Anafenza, activate Shambling Vent, swing for 5. Because that enters the battlefield tapped, he's not going to get to activate Shambling Vent if he wants to kill Anafenza. So this one will be for 3 instead of 5. It is lost points of damage, but I don't think it's lost games.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world here. He's going to recast Ruinous Path.
Oh, looks like, okay, so instead he's just going to awaken the Ruinous Path. No swings. But now, look at the Shambling Vent he has.
Yep, and that's still a fine set of plays here. Siege Rhino the draw here for Kevin. Might be away from the claw back end of this.
Well, he does have Shaheen at 10, but I mean, I mentioned it before, there is going to be a 5/6 lifelinker on Shaheen's side. That is something big.
He just tapped all his mana to cast it. Duress the draw.
Yeah, Ruinous Path. Actually, correction there. The Shambling Vent a 6/7. Not a 5/6. 4 counters from Ruinous Path.
Jace is going to flip now. You saw the first one. Give the Siege Rhino -2/-0. Now see how Shaheen wants to use this one. He has an Utter End in hand, along with a land. It's a Shambling Vent.
So has the ability to cast Utter End and activate the large Shambling Vent this turn if he wants to. Or so maybe just simply activate Shambling Vent and leave up Utter End.
Yeah. I think he might have more interest in that one.
I mean, it's not like he's losing the race on the board.
He will have to, yeah, I guess he can just attack with that just as a 4-power creature. Now he's going to activate it.
Yes, yeah, he does have options. So what he actually can do here is he can attack the 4/4, and then when Kevin says no blocks or blocks, then he can activate it and it'll just grow.
Yeah. I haven't seen Shambling Vent and Awaken show up very much here.
No, but it's quite the 1-2 punch. I mean, making your life linkers bigger is no joke.
13-7 now here in favor of Shaheen. Gideon the draw there for Kevin. Kevin's trying to fight back into this one. His last couple of draw steps have been pretty good. There's the ally of Zendikar. That'll resolve.
So Gideon, not terrible here. Gideon actually, thanks to the 2/2s that'll make, will give him a steady stream of blockers for Shambling Vents. Now, that's going to be a lot of life on Shaheen's side, but as long as Kevin's not dying, it gives him time to draw into the kill spells he would need to recover.
Yeah, and I think that's that's part of the reason we're going to see Shaheen use the Utter End now. It doesn't want to have that line of play work its way into the equation. Just get rid of the Gideon, let it make a 2/2. You can work your way through that. We'll see what Shaheen's going to recast here with Jace. Looks like it might be Murderous Cut, and it is. Just has to decide how much he wants to pay for it mana-wise. And if he wants to delve any, and if he does, how much.
And you see just the all-board control style that Shaheen, that we know so well from him, is just really showing yet again.
Yep, this is what he does. Now he's going to attack with a Shambling Vent.
Once again, it attacks with it currently as a 4/4.
Yep. Can turn it into a 6-power creature by activating it. And now there's Fathom Feeder.
Yeah, opts to not activate it because now he has Fathom Feeder and, well, conveniently 5 mana available for the Fathom Feeder.
Kevin's draw step, I think, finally was a land. He knew he was going to find one eventually, and when he did, it was going to make things pretty difficult for him. That Knight ally is certainly outclassed on this board, as is Kevin's Shambling Vent, and he's going to extend the hand. Shaheen Soorani is going to win this match here over Kevin Greeson, 2-0. Esper Control will take care of Ows on aggro, and for Shaheen, Esper all the time, of course. He's 8-2 here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, so impressive here. A configuration, I mean, this is just classic Shaheen Soorani. And if he gets to the top 8, which an 8-2 start is a great way to try to do it, we'll see more of this tomorrow.
Last time we were in Las Vegas, a couple of years ago on the SCG Tour, Shaheen did top 8 that one as well.